Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 80 of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's NewfNukem in the room. Let's get ready to go. Let's bring in our fantastic panel members, and let's get this show a-cooking. Starting first, we have the lovely lady of the panel, the one with the charismatic views. Here she is. It's CoolcatTerri.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastic. It's Sunday. We're starting off the week right. Let's do it.
And live from cell block 22, I don't think I see him. Maybe he stepped out. He's filling out his paperwork. Here he is, jumping back into action. As always, we got the striped one, Eternal SHADDAI. Oh, I don't think he's ready. What the heck is that?
Good morning.
Good morning, SHADDAI. What's happening?
Actually, I did this just on purpose since it's my last day, so I'm trying to make it as fun as I can.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you can be here, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Bringing in the cranky one himself, CerebralPaul. He's up and ready to go.
Oh, thank God that SHADDAI remembered to wear pants this morning. Since we got wow.
So,
Morning, everybody. So, should be an exciting chat here today. Lot went on this week, so let's get her going.
indeed. Bringing in our resident sharpshooter himself, smooth talking, fast walking Scrubners.
Morning, everybody. Good to see you in the chat. Got a lot to talk about. Some games, some controversies, but always some fun. Let's go.
And last but not least, the man who has all the digits 1, 3, 2, 4, not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's Axel 1324.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be back this week. Let's get it started.
That's right. Welcome back, Axel. We missed you last week.
you.
And
Yeah,
there you go.
All
All right, panel's
I was
all
not feeling
intact. I love it. Everybody's on camera. I'm back on the camera. Not that anybody cares. I'm pretty sure like, Noof, turn that shit off. But here we are, guys. Episode 80. Got a couple of nice, juicy topics to dive into this morning. But before we do get into that, yes, Eternal SHADDAI. And for those of you who are catching the show or whatever, it's been a running joke for a long time that SHADDAI, we made fun of him because when he first started this podcast, he was kind of in a dingy looking basement or wherever he was, and we would say it reminded us of a prison cell. And SHADDAI, being the good guy that he is, he kind of just took that and ran with it so much that he even bought outfits to put on to look like he was actually in prison. So no, guys, don't take that the wrong way. He is actually not an inmate, but he is our resident inmate. He's locked up with us, but today he gets out on his parole. He's going to be leaving us for a little while. SHADDAI, just give us an update on what's happening.
No, I just got pretty much an opportunity to see if I wanted to do pretty much a show in Spanish. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try again since I did that in the past doing podcasting. So I just wanted to see where does it go if things doesn't go quite well. So, if the opportunity presents itself with you guys, I will return. It's not the end of me anyway. You'll see me here and there. You will hear from me here and there. So that's actually that's what's actually what's going on lately. But today, I decided, I'm like, you know what? Let me just dress up as an inmate just for the heck of it. And wearing my mask like freaking Batman Asylum, Arkham Asylum. So
look like
so I just went with it. So
you look like an anorexic Bane over there.
Pretty much.
And I've already told you, if I hear the words "this is a collect call from," then I'm hanging up. Okay,
that was funny. That was actually
those prison calls are expensive, man. Those.
Don't worry, the government will pay for it.
Well, we're glad to know that it's just for other endeavors, and that you will be around eventually, and we certainly will await and look forward to your return if that should ever work out. And if it doesn't, I think on behalf of myself and the entire panel, we wish you the best in whatever avenue you tend to do. It's not something that's uncommon in this gaming streets these days, that people branch out, they try new endeavors, end up on different podcasts. I myself have been through a few, and sometimes you just got to figure out what works, what doesn't work, or maybe it's time zones, work, life commitments, all of the above. So,
Real quick, I want to call out a chat here. Harry, you have a fan. Harry Paulzak says he likes inmates. So there you go.
Well, you know what? Good night and see ya.
Yes, coming from a guy named Harry Balzac is probably not the guy you want to meet in the prison area.
I want to add real quick too, since this is the last show as of right now, the last show with SHADDAI. My mom watches this show every week, and other than myself, she says that SHADDAI is her favorite. She finds you to be really funny. So I haven't talked to her since you made the announcement, so I don't know what her feelings are on you leaving. She's probably not happy about it. But there you go.
Because of my nonsense. Probably because of my nonsense.
But yes, your number one fan happens to be my mother. So
I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Say hi to your mama.
I think word to your mother there.
If you seek refuge, we know where you can go. Oh shit, good stuff. What's everybody been playing this week? Terry, have you been playing anything at all?
A little bit. Tongue tied. Mostly just playing. Mostly just been playing Construction Simulator with my friends, and then a little bit of Need for Speed Unbound. And then I got to play maybe an hour of Hi-Fi Rush, but I just haven't had the time to play it. Because as soon as I get online to play a game by myself, my friends hop on and then I go play co-op. So I don't really play solo games too much.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. SHADDAI, how about yourself? What games have been keeping you preoccupied?
I finally finished Hi-Fi Rush.
Nice.
Then I switched over to Dead Space Remake. That game still looks good. I can't believe it. They Motive nailed it. I give them that. They really nailed it. I hope we get a sequel. And now I'm actually back to the Sinking City, trying to finish that out. That game is pretty long. It has those technical issues, but other than that, it's a pretty decent game. So as of right now, I'm still working on the Sinking City before I think the next one online is Resident Evil 4 Remake. So that one is pretty much next. But because I know Dead Space, I'm going to finish off real quick.
CerebralPaul, what games have been keeping you preoccupied?
Basically, I actually have gone back to Fallout 4, and I'm hanging out in the wastelands here. Okay. Waiting for something new to drop.
Place for you.
Yep. Hey, and what's funny is a friend was playing. I thought, you know what? I'm going to boot that back up, and boy, it sucked me right back in. Yeah.
Nice. Scrub Nurse, what have you been playing?
Well, of course, I've been playing a little Call of Duty with some friends. Earlier through the week, I always have a couple hours to throw into that. Did a little Halo with everybody last night. We had a good time with that. And then, yes, I finally broke down and I played some no-build modes of Fortnite. I don't know what it was. I said, man, it's a shooter. Let me go ahead and download it yesterday afternoon. And I played one solo match, which was fun. And yes, they definitely will nerf everybody for intro level people, because I easily won my first match, and then I played some quads last night. So with Iceman and Droid and Cyber Gunter, and we had a good time. We played several matches last night, got a couple of dubs, so that was fun, and definitely enjoyed that. So it's been a good week.
Funny how you mentioned that. Same thing happened with me. They kind of baited you and easy and kind of give you that false sense of, oh, I'm pretty darn good at this game. And then later on, you get annihilated and you're like, yeah, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, and it's kind of obvious. It's like, I don't know if these are bots or real people, because it was bad. Which I'm guessing they were.
These guys are cross-eyed or something. Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, because they totally missing shots. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That's the tutorial.
Somebody that misses lots of shots. It's Axel. Axel, what have you been playing?
Yeah. So I've been. Let's see what I do. So I finished Gotham Knights again with my cousin. We finished it on my game, then finished it on his. It's so much fun. Criminally underrated game, especially co-op, 4-player co-op. We were joined by Back from the Dead for doing some of the challenging stuff. So shout out to Back from the Dead. And then I've been playing mostly Monster Hunter Rise. Me and my friends are really into it. We're over there we're over there. We're like, oh yeah, we're pretty good. And then we get a new level monster and we get creamed. I mean, it is not even funny how bad these monsters like difficulty spike up on us.
Question, Axel: is it a 4-player co-op? 6?
It's 4-player.
Okay.
Yeah, 4-player co-op. Four is the most you can get.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
And it is a crafting game at heart, where the materials you collect are technically monster parts. So take that for what it is. But I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun. And then of course I played Halo with you guys yesterday. That was a lot of fun for a while.
Great to have you.
Yeah, it was funny. It was real funny, man.
Yeah,
those are good games.
We had a good time. Absolutely. Private matches are where it's at, man. Honestly, like it's just you can chill out and have fun, and you don't have that same level of pressure. There's that internal pressure, but everybody's having a good time. So
yeah.
And everybody had really good games. Everybody was pulling their weight last night. It was good stuff. So it was good times.
That's right.
As for myself, I've been playing a mix of everything. I just recently jumped back into The Witcher, and trying to go back through that story. And God, it's amazing how much you forget. And obviously, still trying to trudge through God of War Ragnarok. I'm surprised I haven't finished that one yet. I don't know what it is with that, but I can only play it so much at a time, and then I have to put it down and come back to it. And a few other different games. Obviously, last night I decided to go in and further my career in Forza Motorsport 7, and my God, what an amazing game. Can't say enough about how good Forza Motorsport 7 actually is, and that makes me even more excited for the next iteration of that franchise. Like, my God, so good. Coming off of Gran Turismo 7 and playing Forza 7, I'm sorry guys, but just hands down, I got to give it to Forza, man, in almost every retrospect. It's just a better game, and that's a fact. It's a fact. I've played enough racing games. I'll tell you, Forza is the champ for a reason.
Yeah,
fucking good.
Forza is king. That's what Doggy Dog said.
Oh man. Speaking of Doggy Dog and all the chat, let's acknowledge them first and foremost. Doggy Dog 420 was the first guy in the room this morning. I'm back on his usual tick, so that's good. Doggy Dog, good to see you, my friend. We've got Casket Repair hanging out with us as well. We've also got Crazy Greek Dudes. Yo, good morning. Doggy Dog does come back in with the first super chat of the morning. We'll leave that to Axel to scribe out here.
Doggy Dog donates $1.99. He says, good morning. Much love, Noof panel and chat coffee.
There you go. Doggy Dog's inconsistent, eh? He's not only in the chat all the time, but he drops that $1.99. He's the $1.99 guy. We love you, Doggy Dog. You're amazing, brother. Thank you so much. You got Tim A in the chat this morning. What's going on, brother? X-Man 3008 is here, ready to chop things down. Crispy Rambo with us as well. Good to see you. Jason Max is in the building, and as always, he comes in with his usual. Just remember, Xbox is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Happy Cloud Gamers hanging out with us this morning. We've got Ice Queen Gaming in the building. Good to see you. Hey, we got our resident cranky man who's not named CerebralPaul. Sir X-Man is in the building. What's going on, Sir X? Good to see you here as well. We got Harry Balzac. And who else do we miss here? I think we've caught up with we got somebody known as B. I want to know where A and C are. But thank you here. Appreciate it. We got Luis Jimenez. What's going on? Did I pronounce that right? Should I?
Jimenez.
Luis Jimenez. Yes, I got to get that little accent in there. That's how it goes. Good to see you here, my brother. Thank you so much. And I think we've caught up with everybody. All right. Let's get right down into one of the topics. And I know Terry, I think, said to me in the comments in a private, she's like, I never played like any of these games. But I think regardless of what games on the list you may have played or not, I think the one thing is concerning is to see how many games are being shut down. And I just kind of want to see how everybody on this panel feels about that. I think we kind of know why this is happening. much like I said about podcasts, there's just so many right now. There's a flood of them. So yes, a lot of live service games are being shut down. Just looking at Game Informer here, like EA, for example, shutting down Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile. That's two huge names. You wouldn't think those would get shut down. Now, is that because, again, an oversaturated market? Is it also because of the platform? Because honestly, I can't see like playing Apex or Battlefield on a mobile screen being overly I don't know, like overly enticing, if that makes any sense. And then, of course, one of the recent ones, a game that many Xbox players touted, when it came out, and that was Crossfire X. It looked pretty darn good, but it was broken and messy. The campaign was late coming. It was the perfect storm of disasters for that little game, and I think largely too. And I mean, I went and played it, and it wasn't terrible, but it just oozed like Me Too. Like it just wasn't. It didn't reach out and grab you. It had some issues. I found the map design was terrible, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of reasons, I guess, why it's going down. So I don't know if anybody in the panel can think of some other major games that are gonna get in the chopping block here. I know there was. I'm trying to find the article where they had some of them listed, but how do you guys feel about it, guys and gals, I should say? How do you guys feel about so many games now going under? I mean, it's got to be bad for people working on them. I mean, it obviously means job losses and unemployment and stuff like that, or studio closures. I'm sure will certainly come with some of this. So let's start with Axel. We'll work our way back. Axel, what's your take?
So Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile are the two big surprises to me out of everything on this list. Mainly because while mobile might not be enticing here in the West, it's incredibly enticing in the East and in South America as well. Because for a lot of gamers, that's the only way they play is mobile, especially young gamers. The idea of console gaming isn't really strong with young, I don't know, whatever comes after Gen Z gamers. Right. Crime Site, don't care. Don't know what it is. Don't care. Crossfire X, the only reason why I know what it is because of Xbox, and at that I still didn't care. Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai, A Hero's Bond. Don't know what it is. Echo VR is a little surprising, as I thought it was doing well. It was advertised a lot on my Quest. I downloaded it. It was free. It had a very unique kind of like fighting in space style, almost like anybody ever see the movie Ender's Game? How they do their little things, kind of like that. You float around. Knockout City, the dodgeball battle royale. That one is leaving us. Love Live School Idol Festival. Don't know what that is. And Rumbleverse. I was interested in Rumbleverse because I thought, oh heck yeah, a wrestling battle royale, that'll be awesome. And then you play it and you have fun for 5-10 minutes and you just realize that the game has no legs. And you guys know what I mean by legs. It's that gameplay loop.
No longevity.
That just gives you so much randomness and makes every moment awesome that almost every game feels rewarding. It just lacked it. It was a great concept and I love wrestling. So I thought, yeah, Rumbleverse, it lacked any legs, man. I'm sorry to say. It just lacked legs. And so that's my thought. It's sad that these live service games are shutting down, but at the same time, I'm not sad because there are so many more. Like these, how many games did I just mention here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games that are shutting down. Today, 29 more games are launching that are live service games. It's really not going to desaturate the market at all. I think we'll be fine. It just kind of sucks that these games had some budget behind them. So they had that extra oomph, but again, it is what it is, man. When you're live service and go free to play, you need a large player base because maybe 1% of that player base is going to spend money to make money, to keep renting the servers, to pay your developers, to do all that. And if you don't have it, you got no choice. You got to shut down. So I think what it is that developers are starting to realize that, yeah, there's 3 billion gamers in the world, but we don't want to play just one game forever.
Right.
And, we don't want to play the same game with a different skin, Crossfire, for a long time, either. And so I believe that there's been so many live service games, and there's so many games in general now that developers are realizing that live service may not be as lucrative as it once was 5 years ago.
No, exactly.
Right.
You know, yeah, and you certainly know that there is only a small portion of a large player base that, like I said, that always sinks money back into games. Some people largely pick up the free-to-play model and never spend a dime on anything. You know, and that's to each their own. But you know, that's they're banking on you to spend money, and very few games out there will have that sort of traction that something like Fortnite has. And you know, they're clever, man. After playing that game now, I can see why it's soaking up the money. You know, it's not hard. Looks like you got something to share on screen with us, Axel.
Yeah, it's just the list of games if anybody wants to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, oh, that's perfect.
All right.
So yeah, just in case anybody wants to know what games there are, this comes from Gamatsu, which is a great database for video games. They do a lot of lists and a lot of game related lists. So I really enjoy the website.
Yeah, and then seeing that single player, that bit of a surprise. You said that there was a single player game from Respawn, but Apex Legends or something that got canned as well.
It was like it was supposed to be a single player story game in the Apex universe that would join the Apex universe and the Titanfall universe. And the Titan from Titanfall 2, what was his name? I forget your robot's name.
BT,
yeah. BT, that he was going to be in there, and other AI controlled Titans were going to be in there too. So, and it got canned. So yeah, everybody's been asking for that Titanfall 3, and there you go.
There you go. Scrubners, is this shots fired over the bow a wake-up call to the industry that, you know, again, oversaturation is now becoming a killer? Again, there's only so much time and so much money. And, you know, what's your take?
Well, it's definitely oversaturation. Just like you have with a lot of these layoffs with these different video game studios and companies, a lot of these people are trying to jump on what works. We have all these captive gamers during the pandemic. Let's do this kind of game. Let's do this kind of game. Let's do this kind of game. Because, you know, if you notice during the pandemic, extra thousands and thousands of people were getting hired for all these video game companies. Live service this, live service that, all these games that live service that you can look at, all of these were within the last 2 to 1 years. It wasn't like these games have been going on for years and now they're finally shutting down. It was, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. And it was just wrong timing. By the time a lot of these games come out, people were not at home anymore or transitioning to go back at work. So what do you have now as well? You have less people in the market to play these games. Also, some of these games just did not work as far as grabbing people's attention. Anytime you have a game like you know, a Crossfire X or Knockout City, Rumbleverse that are live service, Battle Royale stuff, you have to, first of all, grab some people's attention, but then you have to grab the attention of people who love Battle Royales and say, hey, we're going to make a Battle Royale to keep you from going to play your Apexes or keep you from going to play your Fortnites and your different of that nature, or your Call of Duty Warzone. And if you can't hold those people attention to play that more than the games that they're already playing, it's going to be a disaster eventually. So a lot of them, they're probably getting shut down, or most of them probably getting shut down because of they just didn't work as far as getting attention from the people. But I think also they're cutting costs. A lot of these companies are trying to, quote unquote, trim the fat as far as in their books. So stuff like this that's not making the money that they wanted to are going to get shut down. And I just think this is more of bad management from these companies and chasing the latest trend or the latest fad, and it just didn't work out. So this is what you have, and the fact that most people, if not all, are just not even worried about them being gone or even raising a fuss about it, lets you know that they weren't working.
Let's catch up with the chat real quick here. We got the Jinna stopping by to say hello. Good to see you, my friend. Stubbs is in the building. What's happening? Newtonian here as well. I see your Wicked Hots here. Good to see you, my friend. We got Sir X-Man hanging out with us as well. Back from the dead is here. Good to see you. And we got Dreadpool in the building. Good games last night, Brother Dread. And who else? We got Jesse Darby's in the building. Z Black Rider here as well. Our Rob is in the building. Rob, we miss you, man, playing the games. It's been a long time. We got to do it again soon. And Tim A is here, and I think we're caught up again with the chat again. Thank you guys so much for being here, being a part of the show. CerebralPaul, I want to get your take on it and perhaps get a different view on it. Is this kind of the expected outcome post-COVID, where we saw a lot of companies kind of go for broke here because there was a lot more gamers playing? We've seen the numbers, the industry numbers are kind of slanting downwards recently because people are back to work. They're back to sort of doing normal life routines, so not all stuck inside on their phones and playing games as much as perhaps they were a year and a half ago. So is this kind of par for the course? Is this going to be something we see a lot of in the industry, kind of a deal? And it's just unfortunate right now.
Now this is they got hit with a double whammy. They got hit with things opening up after COVID. They got hit with just the downturn of the economy as well. I mean, people have to go out and make money, or they're or they're hurting, so they don't have all the money to spend on the microtransactions and the skins and stuff. And like Scrub said, some of the games just didn't hit. They just or Axel said it, like they had no legs, which I almost take offense to, but no, I'm kidding. But it's just I think it's just the perfect storm for some of these smaller developers, unless you have something very special to offer, where you can get the licensing for certain things that are going to make you popular as far as the skins go or the characters go. You're not going to survive, especially if you try to throw too much at it too fast. Retromania Wrestling, I think they did it right. They're still there, and they still have a player base, and they didn't jump in and grab everything all at once. They let their user base build up, and they keep over time adding more characters, more wrestlers, getting more licensing. They're not trying to do too much too fast. So, and I think that helps. And I've always said that the market was going to get oversaturated with these kind of games. I've said it on this show. You could kind of see it coming, and everybody was like, no, there's plenty of players, blah, blah, blah. Like, at some point, it's got to hit, that bubble's got to burst, just like everything else. Interests are going to go elsewhere. That's just the way of the world. So, like I said, perfect storm. I think some of them probably held out as long as they could, but just like Axel, many of the games I hadn't heard about. I remember, in fact, if you go look at some of the old articles, Crossfire X was getting a lot of praise, not when it came out, but before it came out. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. Everybody was hyped to play Crossfire X, and we all know how that turned out. They're trying to jump on this thing that's hot, and then it ends up, they don't actually put any thought into it, so you get crap.
Okay. Well, the problem with Crossfire X 2 was that game was out before they did all this announcing and everything for Xbox. It was just coming over from South Korea, and the way they brought that game out after it's been out so long and coming to the States, and it was that bad. That was just poor optimization, everything else. That was
Yep.
a PC game that was straight ported over to Xbox and was not optimized for controller or anything else. The gameplay was horrible. That one had no excuse because it had been out for a while.
Yeah. Well, Crossfire X is on the opposite side, where Paul just said I never heard of half of these games, and some of us feel the same way. That in itself is guess strike number one is not having the right marketing behind it. Would you say that's fair, SHADDAI? And how can companies moving forward perhaps figure out how to keep a game going, say if the user base it does not stay with it? I mean, Fortnite is kind of that weird anomaly example where Fortnite was almost dead in the water before it came out with the Battle Royale and added all of the the licensed property skins and stuff to kind of elevate it to another status. And now you look at the game, it's just absolutely littered. I mean, that's part of the reason now what keeps people hooked is people are buying guns and they're buying suits and they're buying characters and they're expensive, man. Like, honest to God, like I'm floored with how much stuff costs in that game and how much though people are buying regardless of the price of it in that game. I mean, my buddies have got numerous skins. I said that to my buddy last night. I said, dude, you must have about $80 to $100 Canadian invested just in characters alone. And 20 years ago, if you told that to somebody, like you're going to spend like $80 or $100 on just skins for a game, you'd have probably laughed your face off and said, "Man, you're just absolutely crazy." But here we are. So SHADDAI, this, how can companies moving forward perhaps get around that? And do you think a lot of it falls on, again, bad marketing or the wrong platform as well?
What you said earlier is all about negotiations and your treatments. That's why Fortnite it has been very successful, and all that to this, as you can see it, they never had that type of negotiation with big names or anything like that. And also they never had the proper preparation for it. They kind of, the way I feel like is they came kind of late, knowing that during those times Fortnite was still hot and Apex was actually the beginning and it was getting hot also. So for me it's just that for those games to pretty much being canned is all, it's like they never see it come. They never saw it coming. I guess they were way too hype, and they thought that their property was gonna hit the strides, and they actually didn't. It's like with Crossfire X. Yes, I got hyped, but I felt that the story was so bland and uninterested.
Wait, there was a story in Crossfire X? I must have missed that.
The campaign. Yeah.
Campaign.
No, I didn't. It's something for me. I didn't like it compared to the story for a Call of Duty, or I'm talking about Medal of Honor, the first Medal of Honor, that the story was really engaging. I didn't like it one bit. It felt clunky. I don't know if the gameplay felt weird. I don't know. It felt probably because it was so tactical, but I didn't like it one bit. I did play Knockout City. It was a really interesting game, but it wasn't for everybody. The content wasn't there. It was pretty much hot at first, fizzle out really, really fast. But marketing, yeah, that's another thing. If you don't market correctly, and remember word of mouth, yes, like I said, it hit at the beginning, fizzle out really, really fast, and actually it was forgettable really, really fast. Nobody at this very moment, who would have thought like, okay, oh geez, Knockout City was still active? I didn't know that. I've been playing, the Death Space, and I've been playing the Hi-Fi Rush and the Elder Ring. They're bigger games, there. So those games pretty much, they got overshadowed by pretty big games like that. So they could have tried, yes, as much marketing that they wanted to, but those games, they just pretty much showed, and all of the time, and now everybody's hyped, and those are like forgettable real fast. So they could have tried whatever they could to market their game. That wasn't going to be enough anyways. They just pretty much died along the way. They just died pretty much a long time ago. So as of right now, the only one as a live service that is still active, I will all know, is pretty much Fortnite and Apex at this very moment.
Right.
And remember, for Fortnite to be like that, remember, it all started with DayZ. So for Epic not to have those big names like right now, that Dead Space remake is hot right now, and now that Fortnite is having the skin of Dead Space, of course people are gonna go back. You know, I'm like, oh, I want to have this skin, because they know that Dead Space remake at this moment is hot, and for them having that skin, Fortnite is gonna be pretty much more popular. So right now, for what we just saw on the list to pretty much, you know, discontinued, I am pretty much not. I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I'm not really surprised. What about you, Terry? What do you think?
Well, just before we get to Terry, like Andy B brings up this in the chat. He says, nobody's talking about how Sony's currently working on 10 games as a service. Wonder what happens there. Well, Andy B, I think it all depends on what those games are, how well they market them, and again, if they offer something new to gamers. Because right now, this is the thing. It's very hard to pull a lot of gamers away from the handful of games that are absolutely massive. Like Fortnite continues to just dominate. All you got to do is look at like your top 10. A lot of times the games that are played on Twitch or some of these streaming services, and they're not going anywhere. They're constantly in the top 10s. Some of them are free to play, some are not, but the majority, they kind of follow the same business model. And you know, if you weren't first on the floor and you didn't build up an audience from the get-go, you're trying to essentially come in late and pull that audience over, and that's not an easy thing to do. Like, unless you're you know, got an outstanding game. And this is the thing, quality doesn't guarantee a success. Because I'm going to be straight up honest with you. PUBG, you know, still going strong. But PUBG, when I look at PUBG in terms of how it stacks up versus other games in the category, I think PUBG is absolutely like terrible. Like, it looks bad, it plays bad to me, and just like how that game is so popular is largely because it was one of the first trendsetters to break into the industry. I think if you brought PUBG out today, like just say that was a new game dropping today the way it is, I don't think PUBG would stand at all. That one would be going out. That's my opinion, and I you know, but that's where I think PUBG wouldn't even stand a chance if it wasn't one of the first on the ground room floor and develop a following. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Terry, what's your takeaway on all this? I mean, obviously disappointing. You're seeing a lot of smaller games getting kiboshed here as well. Like I said, some of them actually pretty good games, but here we are.
All right, so I haven't played any of these games, but if you listen to how everybody else had described them, they all have one thing in common. They weren't optimized. They had really, really poor gameplay. So it makes sense that they're going to fail. They basically launched an unfinished, unpolished game way too soon, and a game that depends heavily on online gameplay. You know, it's not, you know, a offline or a single player game where they can slowly, you know, fix it. It's this games like this. If you can't get that following right away, you're done. So for them to be just kind of slapping these out there, I mean, it makes sense why they all failed. So that's just the way it is. Everyone wants to have the next big game, you know, because I mean, we have a lot of great ones out there that are still going strong today. When you think of like your live service or games as a service, you know, with Rocket League and Overwatch and, you know, Warframe and all that. So like everybody wants to be like them. And so they're just kind of, you know, shooting from the hip and slapping whatever they can out there to see what lands. And most of it doesn't land because they didn't take the time to actually polish the game. So, I mean, just the way it's going to be. Let the stuff go. You know, there's so many live games out there. It's not really going to, it's going to be hard to keep people's attention span as well. Because it's a double-edged sword. First off, when you release one of these games, everyone's going to be comparing it to their favorite, whether it's Destiny or Fortnite or whatever. They're going to be, oh, well, Fortnite does this better, or Destiny does this better. They're always going to compare it, and that's going to hurt your game. And then if you try to make your game nothing like those, then they're going to be comparing and complaining, oh, you should have made it more like Destiny. You should have made it more like Fortnite. They got it right. You can't please people. So these are just really, really hard games to have come out and be successful. But really, yeah, it's not a big loss. There's so many out there that are doing well. So
it's just kind of a scary thing, though, for an indie dev, because a lot of times right now, indie devs, to sort of break into the industry and gain traction, it is to go with that free-to-play model, and hopefully that microtransactions bring it home the bacon. So is it a little bit scary? I mean, do you have to just align with sort of the right publisher, essentially, or have enough capital to drag the game along until it finds an audience? Because sometimes that's what it is. You just got to keep something alive long enough until it almost resuscitates itself. But and other times, like I said, is DOA. Like, I'm really shocked when you got a game like Crossfire X, which hasn't been out on console very long, and it's already kind of gone down. Like, we've seen some games do this over, we call it the slow dying, like it takes a few years, but to see something with that, and that one did have a little bit of marketing behind it, but it was just, like I said, it came out with so many problems right off the hop. And again, unless you do something to stand out from the crowd, like Apex Legends, for example, right, which is almost a great example, because Apex, it took a formula that obviously borrowed from Call of Duty, and it borrowed largely from Titanfall, blended them together, kind of got in on the whole battle royale while it was still sort of new and fresh, and it kind of did a few things differently enough that it gathered an audience that sticks with it, and again, you give away people just enough to bait them in, and then of course you either make them grind to get all the stuff, or you pay up the money. And for a lot of people, like I've seen some of the grinds on these games. I mean, Fortnite, for example, I've gotten literally diddly squat, and I bet you I've got hours into that game now, and I'm like, my God, they're giving me next to nothing here.
Because the point is to make you pay.
Exactly.
Yeah, Apex Legends, one reason why they had the good characters, the quirky characters at the beginning, but the baseline for it was they had great mechanics. These are the same people who came out, worked with Call of Duty shooting mechanics, and worked with Titanfall. So that right there alone helps you out immensely. I mean, yes, you still have to get the whole bases right, but like Terry was saying, it was great gameplay, because that came after Fortnite was getting big and all the rage, and at first you were worried if Apex was gonna catch on and hold on to be as big as they are now. The only ones that have really held on pretty well after Fortnite was doing so well was probably not Titanfall, but Apex Legends, their battle royale, and maybe Call of Duty's battle royale. Everybody else is just trying right now, and it's not working.
One of the best examples I can think of for recent examples would be Genshin Impact, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
it's a great example of a game that was a mobile game that also found great success on consoles, because I mean it had everything that anybody would want. The game was well optimized, it plays well, it has a lot of fascinating characters that people want to collect and buy into everything. And they made sure the market within their niche, the waifu, thing. So, they knew what they were doing, and they found success with that. So it's just one of those things where you have to make sure that you're making sure that your game is going to run very well, so people want to keep playing it, and then make sure you also, supply all the things that they want to invest in, which is what they did, and they found great success with that. If you're doing a live game that you're going to be focusing on either subscriptions or like your microtransaction stuff, you need to make sure that game freaking runs. All right, no one's going to be investing in a skin for a character they can't even play because the character's broken. Okay, so you got to make sure everything's working.
You know what? Something came up to mind, which I forgot to mention it earlier. As Also, if you come with uniqueness when it comes to, let's say, skins and all that, situations like this that we just saw on the list, sometimes I know they're pretty much small, but also could keep on their heels for actually. I know I'm gonna receive this like, nah, that's not gonna happen. It could happen. It could be for the Halo Battle Royale if they don't do the right thing. That's is gonna be the next one on that list. And you know what is gonna happen? What happened to Anthem? So look what happened to Anthem. Everybody got hyped. All of a sudden, for some damn reason, now it's pretty much shut down. So if you don't do it correctly, come with new, unique ideas, a really good execution for it. Like you said, really good gameplay, content. And I know we just said it so many times that Halo needs content, but sometimes you can misfire that. Halo Tatanga, whatever that's called, Tatanka, that's gonna go down the drain really, really fast.
But that comes down from market research and also knowing what your core audience wants. What audience are you aiming for, and are you giving them what they expect or what they want? Because sometimes I feel like sometimes with games or movies and stuff like that, it's just, or even TV, that again they're giving you too much of what they think you want and they don't really do it. Because like even right now, like I've seen some people on Twitter go, oh, the next Gears of War game needs to be survival horror, and I'm like, that is the worst effing suggestion I have ever freaking heard. Gears never started that way. Why would you change the formula at work? Because what? Because you grew tired of Gears for some reason, so all of a sudden you think the game is trash and it doesn't work? It's just, I'm sorry, I'll go out on a limb on this one. This is a Game Pass argument for me. Like, I'll fight you to the end on this. Gears of War does not need to become a limited ammo, running around in the dark, hiding from like that. No, that's stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I know that's your opinion, but that's
Jump
one of the
scares.
stupidest suggestions I've ever heard.
You can't do a perfect reload if you have
on.
limited ammo.
Come on. Well,
Weird
that's what it is. If it's
Noises
survival
for no
horror, you mean
reason.
you're limited on resources, and you know, I get it. Gears kind of lost that little bit of that edge that it had when it first started. You know, because again, it was a little darker, a little grittier, a little heavier per se. But that's all they got to get. It's about storytelling, man. Like sometimes that's all it is. It's a good story, but you got to know your audience. You can't break outside that. You got to give them something new to keep them in, but you can't change the formula up too much. You know, that's the bottom line. I think where Gears has fallen down again is where a lot of games fall suspect. They try to reach out to new audiences, but alienate the ones who make the games great to begin with. You know, like Gears had an identity, and that's just the thing. When games start losing that identity, and very few games can do it, like let's just say Resident Evil, for example, right? They changed the whole view. They went to a friggin' first-person view, which for a lot of reasons you could have said it was going to kill the game, or it's going to bring the game back in droves. And I guess luckily for them, and I'd say it's a big lucky, because I bet you that was a huge gamble for them. Well, we're going to change up the formula. We're going to go to first person, and we're going to, you know, make the story seem totally different all of a sudden. I mean, heck, the last Resident Evil game, for crying out loud, you're freaking fighting werewolves and shit. Like, you know, like very few games can get away with that. And I think largely Resident Evil can, simply because of the name alone. But if Resident Evil didn't have the fallback on a tried and true property to go with it, I don't know if those games would have had the same output either. And then you can look at it's the delivery method for some games. High res. Was a high-res Hi-Fi Rush right now is a perfect example of a game that, yes, it's well done and it's a great game and people are loving it, and that's fantastic. But right now, it's largely successful because it's in Game Pass. If this game wasn't in Game Pass, I
don't know about that.
Playing this right now.
Yeah, I have to disagree.
I know
Steam charts would disagree with you, Noof.
Steam will tell you different, especially at $30. It's making more money than what was the last PlayStation game that came out?
Forspoken?
Yeah, Forspoken at $70.
Forspoken.
Hi-Fi Rush has made more money than them, and so they had to sell over twice as much just to make even. they have made more money than Forspoken just on Steam. And you can say, because of Game Pass, look at how many folks are playing it for free. So that just tells you how many people are buying this game. I wouldn't use Hi-Fi Rush in this instant. This one is actually a hit on this one. I don't think it's because of this factor or Game Pass. Maybe because more people get the word of mouth out. Yeah, maybe because people have gotten the word of mouth out because they played it, but yeah, Steam sales and other stuff would tell you probably different.
Well, you know, when it comes to Forspoken too, like this is another perfect example of a game where they show off these amazing flashy tech demos and all these videos leading up to launch, and then you come out and you literally go, holy shit, this game got a massive downgrade. Because honestly, Forspoken still looks good. But it doesn't look anywhere close to like the game that they showed off a while back. And why in the heck it's requiring such taxing PCs to even run it is beyond me. It's just like I've seen games that look far more advanced than that game and aren't requiring near as much requirements to run. That's I don't know, man.
But you know what? We can't blame them on that one because the Division 2 was like that when it was shown. That it looked really nice, and when it came out, it was a totally different thing until probably the new hardware came out. That's when they start pretty much bumping it up. Yeah. So, you know, the Division 2 was the same way.
Ooh. All right. Well, any further thoughts though on this game? I mean, we've kind of taken it down a different road, and that's largely my fault. But I mean, I think the message is the same here. I think at the end of the day, it's called you know, it's saturation of the market, you know, and we're seeing this again. It's not just games. It's even in this podcast scene, which we bring up a billion times, that there are so many podcasts now. And I feel guilty that I can't watch or enjoy as many as I used to, because if I try to support and watch every podcast I actually like, and there's quite a few of them, I don't think I'd ever game. Heck, I could probably sit in my bedroom and watch podcasts from 10 a.m. in the morning till 12 at night, because there's legitimately almost that many. It's like every time I turn around now, there's a new podcast, and some people have multiple podcasts within the same window. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I mean, to each their own. I mean, I'm doing a couple, but again, it's hard to gain traction, and I think it's oversaturation, and sometimes too much of a good thing is also a bad thing. You know, and it's hard to differentiate yourself.
It's all about execution of the news. Whoever does it correct, you know, entertaining, you will get that viewer.
Hey, we got Flemish up in here. What's going on, brother Flemish? Good to see you, my friend. We got some great people in the house this morning, including Dan the Man Cunningham. What's going on, man? What else we got here? What's we miss? Brando Calrissian, he wanted to play a game with us last night. We never got a chance. He had some family outing. Well, you know what, Brando, at the end of the day, man, I know it made us, you sounded like doing your family outing was, you know, but at the end of the day, man, appreciate your family, bro, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about family and friends, and, you know, gaming will be there tomorrow. Your family's not always guaranteed to be there. So, well, unless you really hate your family and you're just going through the motions, but yeah, guys, happy Cloud Gamer back from the dead. Stubbs is in the building. What's going on, Stubbs? Good to see you here, my friend. Let's move the needle. Terry, I don't know if you're ready yet, but we are at about the halfway point, so that usually means we can switch up the swing it up here and switch it up, bring in that indie spotlight.
All right.
Sorry, I should always give you like the 2-minute warning or something in the private chat.
No, you're good.
I just throw you under the bus. I'm like, I hope she's ready to go, but I know you always are. You're the constant.
I got it. We're good. So I'm going to show you guys another retro-looking first-person shooter. Now, I've done another one in the past that resembled like Doom back in the day. This is another one that's similar to that effect, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one.
Ooh, you know this one.
Ooh, is it out of early access?
Yeah, you can play it on Game Pass right now.
All right, so we got Proteus. All right, so this, as you saw, it's a first-person shooter. It's a reimagined with modern, with modern technology, with the retro look, to be similar to games like Quake and Doom. It also has an auto map feature, which those of you who play Doom or Metroid Prime are going to enjoy as well. And the whole point of the game is you are playing as a corrupted agent of Proteus, and you have one mission: to destroy Proteus and anything that's in your way. So get to it. And this one, unlike the other one that I had to spotlight of, that one was just single player. This one has co-op. You can do 2 to 4 player online co-op, and it also has a 2 to 16 player online multiplayer in there. You also have community crafted levels, so lots of replayability on here. If you get tired of playing the in-game maps and stuff, you can go create your own or play somebody else's and have a great time. And it has a fantastic metal soundtrack, and this game is available on all platforms for $25, or you can enjoy it via the amazing Game Pass and xCloud. So have some fun.
Another beauty from Terry, and I can vouch for that one. I actually got a chance to play that one. That one's really good, and I love how they modernized it, but yet sort of kept the retro look and feel. But that's a really good pick. If you like those old school shooters, and that's almost as old school as it comes, from the armor to the life packs to picking up those really cool guns and stuff and just shooting these demons, that's the way to go. Well, it's a pretty big game. Like, takes you a little while to get through it too. Doggy Dog said it's out. He finished it last year. I saw a lot of love for Proteus. Great game, like I said, especially if you got Game Pass. No reason not to go give that one a try if you love old school shooters. That's for sure. Sir X-Man, what's going on, brother? All right, who else we got in the chat here? We got our brother out from what do we got here? We got Outbreak Gamers, aka Mr. Web Dave, is in the chat. Speaking of Web Dave, I've got a one-on-one coming up here shortly after this podcast this morning. Looking forward to it. I always love talking about my passion and my hobby, and looking forward to catching up with Dave and see what's on the go. So just keep that in mind. More details after the show here. So, all right. Any further thoughts, everybody, or we're going to move on to the next thing?
Let's go.
All right. How about you, Scrub? Anything new or noteworthy on the Game Pass side of things?
New or noteworthy on the Game Pass things. Really, the main thing that I see coming out right now is if you want another racer, and you hadn't had a chance to play it, on the 7th, so next week, Hot Wheels Unleashed is coming out. I know the big one that everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are waiting for is Atomic Heart, which is going to be on the 21st. Yes. But next week will be Hot Wheels Unleashed. And then you'll have stuff like that are leaving soon. Of course, we talked about Crossfire X, but F1 2020, if you say, oh man, I don't want to miss that. Well, 21 and 22 are on Game Pass. So you can play other ones, but the main thing is Hot Wheels Unleashed is going to be here next week. So there's a lot of stuff that, did just come out too. So JoJo's Adventure, if you were waiting for that, that is out now, of course, which came out a week or so ago, was Hi-Fi Rush. That game, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's only 6 hours. It's not. It's closer to 10 hours. But then there's so much replayability because they have a big game plus on there. So you can go back and play with the powers that you have gained from the first time you played around, plus the characters, teammates that went with you the first time. You can go back through there. There are certain little areas that you couldn't get through the first time that are now open to you, that you can now get in, gain more access to secret stuff. What they have about 5 or 6 different difficulty levels, and you can get achievements with all of the different levels, plus the hidden ones. Monster Hunter Rise is, of course, out. Inca just came out, and also Darkest Dungeon. So just check out your Xbox app look on there, check out Game Pass, see if there's something you'd like to play, because there's a lot of stuff that is out right now where you can have fun. That's all I have.
Speaking of games coming and going, and this is a small topic, but something I want to bring up because I'm trying to wrap my head around it and see how this works. But I want to know one announcement coming down from Microsoft this past week is that the Xbox 360 store is getting shut down. Is that correct?
Fake news.
Yeah, it was not correct.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's good to know because I just thought, geez, that's kind of weird considering how they touted the generation thing and. And then all of a sudden shut that down. I was like, this is kind of weird to me. I don't know, but yeah, well, that's good to know.
Damn,
Some games are getting pulled, but it probably has more to do with licensing and things like that than anything else. But
okay, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a message though? Oh, maybe that's what it was concerning because I had a message come up on my Xbox dashboard from Xbox saying something about that.
Yeah, they said that it was sent out in error. Or something like that. If you recall, they tweeted to correct themselves, and the Xbox 360 store is not shutting down.
Oh, it's just nice to know that you can still go back and pull out some of those games. I mean, I know there's still some people out there still playing on 360. Heck, I fire mine up once in a while, and don't we need to be losing too many games? We need to be adding some games, but yeah.
There's one game there that I wanted to buy, but it's still expensive.
Okay, Happy Cloud Gamer, you're getting banned from this chat, bro. I think I don't like Monster Hunters of cats. You can't be a cat hater up in here, bro. I can't be a cat hater. What? I'm the host, and I have cats. I got 4 of them. They're amazing.
I don't like cats in real life, but I like them in Monster Hunter.
But let's just say even if they were going, Xbox 360 store is shutting down, wouldn't you still be able to get those same games on Xbox One and Series?
Well, that's the big question is.
And that's what makes me mad with some of the people that were like, oh my God, look what they're doing. Most people are not, I know there's going to be those 5 people. I play my 360 every day. Most people are at least on the one if they're not playing series. So a lot of these people who are on Twitter yelling about it are on the next gen or current, the current gen. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of mess. And oh wow, I can't get I don't know, Gears, original Gears on Xbox 360 if I don't want it. Well, you can get it on Game Pass on your PC or Xbox. It's a bunch of mess. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you guys clarified it. Yes, thank you for clarifying that, guys, because like I said, because sometimes misinformation can go a long way. In this community, it seems to go a longer way than the actual news. So, hey, we got another reason to hate on Xbox. Let's get out the torches, guys. Those guys.
That's like saying, oh, you won't be able to get your favorite Pearl Jam album off of Zune anymore. Okay, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you can't buy. That doesn't mean you can't buy a Pearl Jam album anymore. You just can't get it on the Zune.
Look, if it's not an 8-track, I'm not supporting them anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
What? I still have 8 tracks? No, I certainly don't. That was a little bit ahead of my time. Cassette tapes, yes, but geez, I can't even imagine going back.
Oh, we had a killer 8-track collection in my house, boy. I'll tell you what. That RCA Music Club that they ran for a while, man.
Yeah, sometimes kids these days don't know how good they had it. If I wanted a popular song when I grew up, you literally took out a cassette tape, you threw it in a CD player or a portable compact machine. Everybody's like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And you had to wait for the radio to play that song. And you
Walkman, man, the Walkman,
like, oh my God, like, oh, it's crazy, man. How stuff has really changed in like the run of 30 years or so. It's just unbelievable. It's like technology just creeps up on you and you don't know it. It's, like movies will show it and then it's here and you kind of don't even realize that the shit that they kind of alluded to, like back in the day, is like all of a sudden it's here, but you just kind of take it for granted. You're like, God dang.
Technology moves exponentially. not
I
linear.
remember when I
Mhm.
played my Game Boy as a kid, and the Game Boys original ones, they had no backlit screen, so you put the lights on them or whatever. They all had those attachments, and I'd be sitting on the couch playing. And my dad is like, "What kind of flashlight is that?" Oh, it was funny. Anyway, sorry to get off track here. Good stuff. All right, next
Yes,
big
Columbia House.
Oh my God, Columbia House! I love the Columbia
That's
House.
right.
God dang, I had so many CDs and stuff with those guys.
So many people's credits were destroyed because they weren't paying Columbia House.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right. I
they
set
get
up
their
my
free
mom,
ones
my
and then kind of
dad,
forget all that they
my
had it. Oh, I
uncles,
got my albums.
everybody.
Mm.
I got what
Everybody
I want. I'm
got
not
their
paying you.
five albums for 5 cents.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's why
remember to
Paul. That's why
cancel.
Paul's in the situation he's in. I heard he owes outstanding debts to Columbia House.
That's right. Yeah.
Paul's like, yeah, I got like 1 million compact discs out here. Yeah, got all those
Hey,
12 for penny deal, and then they're stacking them up back there.
if you did it right, what you did was you did the 12 for a penny thing. You bought what you had to buy, and then you canceled it, and then you started it up later
That's
for another
exactly what I
12 for a
did.
penny, and you just racked them up. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what I did. Lots of times. I never had an issue with those guys, but anyway, we're way off
Nope.
topic. But oh man, when
And that's why they went out of business.
That's why they went out of business. No, well, we think we know why those guys
Unsustainable.
went out. The old digital era came in, and buying CDs online
They
like
didn't
that was not
move.
the way to go.
They didn't move like Netflix because for some people who don't know, Netflix used to send you your movies in a DVD in the mail.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
In the
think they do.
mail.
They do still have a mail option, don't they? I think.
They still, yeah, they're slowly phasing it out. But I remember getting DVDs in the mail from Netflix and then mailing it back in the prepackaged thing so I could get my next DVD. I do
It's
remember
like
that.
online when
I was pushing
the first one that I
Blockbuster
created the streaming.
because you could get the mail or you could go into the store. I like that one, the edition of the store.
Yeah, that's when Redbox came out because they were competing. Because like, no, you don't have to wait for it to come in the mail and pick it up today.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta remember Redbox. My Walmart had one. I bet you it was they only had it here for probably about a year, and then it was gone. I was like, shit, there it goes already. Yeah, man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, let's get into the next topic, shall we? And we're going to talk about something that I don't really know how to feel about at this point. It could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, but that is Amazon Games has just bought the Tomb Raider license. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is just the games, if that means it's the games, movies, all properties related to Tomb Raider. I'm assuming at this point we know it's going to at least be the gaming division. We know that Tencent recently bought Crystal Dynamics, and they bought the Tomb Raider
Embracer.
IC, or sorry, Embracer. Yes, god damn. Yes,
You keep
Embracer.
confusing those two.
I know. It's Embracer Group bought them recently. And for those who aren't up to date on things, so they bought Crystal Dynamics. They bought Eidos Montreal. What was the other one? They bought several of the studios that are behind the Tomb Raider franchise and Shadow the Tomb Raider. And of course, then they went out and bought the IP, and now they sold the IP, the Tomb Raider license, to Amazon Games. So it sounds like they bought the license, but they don't have the studios. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's going to make things very interesting because that potentially means that the next Tomb Raider iteration, and I assume there will probably be one, to spend that much money and not use it would be really weird. But they paid nearly double for it from the initial Embracer pay. I think Embracer bought them for just over 300 million and sold it off for over 600 million. So
That's
there
good
you
business.
go. That's good. Great
Yeah,
business.
that's good. That's a great flip.
Great flip.
That's a great flip.
It's definitely a franchise that can certainly make that money back in a hurry. I mean, Tomb Raider is still one of the most world-renowned properties out there. But, this is like I've said before, too. Like, Tomb Raider may have held weight in the past. Does it hold weight today? We see how audiences change and all that sort of stuff, And I think one of the things that propels it forward is having a game that can stand on that game of the year plateau where it gets enough industry traction that trickle down effect happens. I think it's like the God of War scenario. Like God of War is kind of more relevant now than it ever has been, but that's largely because God of War has had an amazing game back in 2018 and has been followed up by another great game here this year. Tomb Raider has kind of been just under that bar for some reason, and of course, Tomb Raider's hype kind of got nullified a little bit as well when a game came out called Uncharted, which kind of, they're very similar. Obviously, Uncharted borrows from Tomb Raider. People always think it's the other way around. So, hey, man, Lara Croft was doing this shit before Nathan Drake. But anyway, how do you guys feel about this deal? Do you think it's going to be a good thing, bad thing? Is it a wait and see? And what do you think? What do you think is the next step forward for the franchise? It's one of my favorites, so I hope it comes back in a big way. But I mean, if you don't have the studios behind it that built it, that's the concerning part for me, because it doesn't matter who publishes a game. It matters about who builds it. So how do you guys feel on this one? I'll open the floor up. Maybe we'll start with Paul, because he's been relatively quiet over there.
I think I think Tencent did what they intended. They're an investment group. They turned around and they made a shitload of money. What's that?
You said Tencent.
Embracer.
Well, that's because you said it. That's because you said it. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But either way, both of them are primarily investment groups, so I think they did what they intended as far as that goes. They made a shitload of money, and I wouldn't actually be surprised if that's kind of where Amazon's rolling too, because they don't have, they have a gaming division, but they don't have any real developers underneath them who could take something on like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they license it out, not only for games but for movies, because remember, Amazon is all into the Amazon Prime thing and cranking out, content, and that's probably where they see it going. They look at the popularity of things like the last, the Nathan Drake movie, which in a lot of people's minds was a crappy movie, but it made a shitload of money. It's a fun little popcorn movie, and if they can get if they can do the right thing, get the right actors and stuff, they could make a crap load of money off of this. So I think it has the possibility of being very good depending on how it's handled, just like anything like this. Because we as gamers and movie viewers and TV, whatever they plan on doing, we have expectations. And if they fall short on that, it's not going to go anywhere. But they're starting to have a good pedigree with the movies and the TV shows they're cranking out, especially in the superhero side genre stuff. They do some really great stuff. So I think they'll do fine. Personally, we'll see, but I think it'll be fine.
Can anybody verify what Sir X-Men has on screen here?
Yes, that is true. We actually talked about it on the show. We talked about it on the show when Embracer bought Crystal Dynamics. They had the limited time deal with Amazon to still create the next game. And now Amazon just bought the rest of the rights of the franchise. Or whatever. So I know that they have mentioned that they have plans for, a TV series as well as movies, which makes sense for Amazon. As for what they might do in the future for gaming, we won't know since, they haven't not Embracer. They have Crystal Dynamics for the next upcoming game, but that doesn't mean that they'll be able to work anything out for anything in the future after that. But I would just foresee this becoming more of a series and movie play.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to know. Thank God Crystal Dynamics got something to do at least with the next game in the series.
Yeah, to me, that neither one of them have gone out as far as Amazon and Embracer to really speak out on it. It's just news that's been breaking on it. But the way it sounds, like Terry was saying, it looks like they're leasing it out more, going the TV show route than the game. We'll see about a game, but their plan is to make a universe around Tomb Raider to go with a video game, a TV show, and a possible movie, and do like a little mini universe.
They want to be like Marvel. They want to be like Marvel with Tomb Raider.
Video games
around a universe around one franchise. So I don't know how well that'll work, but we'll see. We'll see. Like you said, a lot of these comic books and video game things, they're made for TV, a longer format. It's hard to put a epic trilogy or one game that it took you 20 hours to play in story and condense it into 2 hours. So I like to see what it would be like for a TV show,
and with the way studios are going nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised they'll go with the next hotness. They'll probably cast Bella Ramsey as the next Tomb Raider with the way things are going.
Well, not necessarily. What they'll do is you'll start seeing a lot more video game TV shows than movies because of The Last of Us. I really think so.
Yeah, you just nailed it.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, we know how it can be done right if they honor the source material, and that's why The Last of Us, I think, has been so good so far in just honoring the source material. Yeah,
we'll see how it goes when they run out of source material.
Well, that's
since they were only are they end the show, or are they going to try to do what they did with Game of Thrones and continue without source material?
No, they'll have 20 or 30 episodes like episode number 3 where they just basically spend 45 minutes exploring relationships.
Yeah, which I thought was great storytelling, though. It was great storytelling. But the thing with HBO shows, a lot of HBO shows, unless you're doing Game of Thrones or whatever, that they're going 2 and 3 seasons. And then especially when they have the shows that have like the bigger named actors, you're only getting 2 or 3 seasons and the show's over with because they can't hold and pay for all those people and it messes up with shooting when they have to do all their other big movies and TV shows. If they actually do more than 2 or 3 years, you'll get something like you have with like a Westworld where it's 2 years between each season, or Succession, or all these different ones. They're only going like 2 or 3. They're not limited run, but they're not these 9 seasons of whatever.
Mm-hmm. All right. Eternal SHADDAI. I know you like Tomb Raider. How do you feel about this whole conundrum? Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you think happens next? But before we get to that, though, let's catch up with a good friend of the show, Dragonheart Yobi, coming in hot with his usual mantra. Here he is. Dragonheart Yobi, read that one out. Go ahead, Scrub. You can do the honors.
Dragonheart Yobi has a $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Peace, love, life, everyone. That's correct, man. Good to see you.
Yes, it is good to see you, Yobi. Thanks for stopping by and honoring us with your presence. And speaking of honoring us with the royal graces, it is the lovely Princess Zelda is in the chat. Good to see you, Zelda. We missed you on Friday nights on the Iconic Video Game Podcast, so hopefully that's not a permanent departure, but yeah, we definitely miss you there. All right, go ahead, Mr. SHADDAI. Tell us your thoughts on the whole Tomb Raider thing.
When I saw that's when I started researching what was going on, and as we all know, it's not a buyout, it's more of a lease. But knowing how things are going for Amazon with I know Terry knows this one. What is it? Lost Ark? That the first game that they published that is successful. So for them to go for Tomb Raider, you can tell what they're trying to do. Something that Google never got the chance to do for their Stadia, and that is going step by step, going for the most popular game, so they could have at least something for their streaming device, Luna. So they're doing the right thing, even though it's just a lease. But it actually is doing it to get people's attention that they just pretty much, you know what, let me go for Tomb Raider. It's very popular. It does have, they have movies and all that. Now, remember, now they have the Lord of the Rings. They have their, I don't know if they have purchased the games also. I'm not truly sure if they do. But if they do, they have the games. They have the Ring of Power now. They could do the same thing with Tomb Raider. Since we were talking about it, we wouldn't be surprised if they create a TV show around Lara Croft. But as of right now, it's so early because it will be the first game under Unreal Engine 5 and the reboot. So if that actually goes successful and they get, let's say they get a sequel, I wouldn't be surprised they'll go for a TV show. But for them, as in general, as Amazon getting that, at least they're getting something very popular for their services. It just, we don't know where, we don't know what they're gonna do after that game. We really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I'm not surprised. Will they get something else after Tomb Raider? We don't know that either. We really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just happy. I'm just happy that they see that IP beyond the game, that it does have a lot of success. It's very popular within the gaming community. The second game, under the publishing, and also remember, I thought it was going to be exclusive. It's not exclusive. It's going to be a multi-platform. So that's another plus for them. So it's pretty much all over the place. So that's, really good for them. So they want to be, I know they want to do something against any other streaming, against Microsoft. So, let's see what else are they going to do, the Amazon games. Let's see how they're going to go. And another thing, I'm very, remember, Amazon never created games until Lost Ark. So this is their second one. So I see that they're learning. What other game? Because I'm like, Amazon never created a game or published a game. It just
I think the first game they did was Breakaway, which was fantastic, but it died before they never launched.
That's why it's called Breakaway. He just broke off.
And also, let me say something. They're probably going to turn out a TV show or such before they turn out the game, just because of production time. It's much shorter on a TV show than it is on a fully formed game for Tomb Raider. So the show will probably come first before the game tie-in would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amazon had, I think, 3 games that they made that didn't release before they did New World, and then of course now there's Lost Ark, but New World came before that.
Okay, so my question is this: Amazon, because the way I'm thinking is Amazon actually creating their own game? The reason why I say that is because sometimes companies, sometimes companies want to create a game and they don't know how to create it. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I ask. Because Amazon, I never seen nobody create. Amazon is just pretty much stepping into the gaming world.
For something like this, they'll probably license it out. They'll take care of the TV side and they'll license out the game and all that.
Because the thing is that if that is the way, let's say if that is the way, and they create their first game, I see it as like, you know what? It's a good stepping stone. You're learning how the gaming works. Now you know how games are created and how long it takes to create that game. So that's the reason why I'm asking that question. So as of right now, they're doing the right way. Kind of took them way too long to do this, but shortly but surely they're pretty much going the right direction on how games are created, how everything is published, and about the shows we already know because of the Ring of Power and all that. But I wanted to see what else Amazon games are they're gonna do beyond the Tomb Raider.
Gotcha. All right, who hasn't had a chance to chime in here? Axel?
Yeah. As you know, Tomb Raider Lara Croft is Bae. She's one of my favorite characters. Tomb Raider is one of my favorite franchises. So according to the rumor, now this isn't official, it's a rumor from Nintendo Life or something like that. They bought the rights to the movies, the TV show, the games, then the merchandise. So basically outright.
Mm-hmm.
And Of course, Amazon now owns MGM. I believe they own MGM. They got their own movie studio now. They own Amazon Games. They're moving it along. So I think Tomb Raider for them is a great grab, and it's a good business sense from Embracer Group. I mean, they bought that whole division for $300 mil. That 300 mil probably included some debt, and that's why you could say, 300 mil is not much. Well, they also bought that debt. You're obviously not going to pay for full price for someone that owns a debt.
Right.
Owns a debt if you're buying the debt as well, right? So to double that on selling of one IP to Amazon, that's great for them. Dumb of Square Enix, which, the sale of all these franchises failed to meet expectations. And so good for Embracer Group. I do have more faith in, while Crystal Dynamics has yet to let me down, and Gearbox is probably their second best studios that they have at Embracer Group. That's it. Out of the 80 or 80 studios or so they only have really two good studios. And then so to move it over to Amazon, who actually is trying their hardest to make a runaway success game, with and having trouble breaking into the gaming market, and they want to, there's something to be said about a company that's hungry. When you got someone who's hungry, they're obviously going to take care. Now they have Tomb Raider, and they have to take care of Tomb Raider because they just spent $600 million on it. It has to be a good game. It'll probably come out on the Xbox Series XX, the next iteration. But I'm glad that it's going to be on there. I do see a TV show coming out of it. I do see a movie coming out of it as well. The actress in the most recent movie I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I thought she deserved it. She definitely embodied the new Laura
Alicia
Croft,
Vikander.
not the busty Laura Croft, but the new adventurous Laura Croft. I thought she did a really good job. So for Amazon, this is a big W for them. It leans into what they're going with. What's the word to describe? Their multimedia aspirations, right? Their entertainment aspirations, and of course, they've had great success with writing with The Boys, Invincible. What's another one that has Rings of Power? So Amazon seems to be taking care of things, and they're not afraid to put money into it. I mean, Rings of Power at the time when it came out was the most expensive TV show of all time. And it's only on season 1. You usually cannot say something is the most expensive TV show of anything until you're like on season 10 or something close to that, because you're paying the actors so much. So they're not paying the actors, and they're already the most expensive TV show ever made with Rings of Power. Great show, by the way. Everybody should watch it.
I want to go 8 episodes. I can't deal with that.
Come on, SHADDAI, just watch it.
No, I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
But prison boy, just sit down in your corner and watch it. Anyways, so shout out to them. I'm glad it's going to be multi-plat. I'm happy for Amazon, of course. Hopefully, I don't know, we get some Twitch drops or something for watching it in the future, but that's almost a decade out.
Well, you already know we're going to get so many Twitch drops.
Yeah,
you already know.
Yeah,
that's
we're
right.
definitely going to
Get
do
Lord
something
Crofts,
like
Daisy Dukes, Twitch drop today. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But like I said, that's a decade out. The game is anyway. The movies and entertainment, as Neuf said, much shorter cycle. I think they'll be out in 3 to 5 years. Whoa.
Okay, Terry gets full layout because she's got Kitty on screen.
Shatter's over here. He's my little sidekick.
And there he goes.
He just kind of sits
And
here.
Lionel.
And Lionel.
And Lionel on the shirt.
There you go, Yobi. You said you wanted Terry. There you go. You got Terry and her kitty.
So cute.
Oh, look at Paul down there.
Anyways,
Paul's
I'm
like,
just
I
kidding.
need attention.
His name is Gray.
Rub my head. All right.
Shout out to them. I hope they
who
do
has a
great
chance
because I
to chime
really
in? I
enjoyed
think
the
it was
last
you,
trilogy.
Terry.
What was that?
Did you? I guess you have a chance here to kind of close this debate on this.
Yeah, no, like I pretty much, I'm in agreement. They're probably going to be focused more on like film and movies, which is I'm all for. And if they are able to continue to work with Crystal Dynamics for games, I'm 100% for that because they've done a great job with what they've been doing with that. So yeah, I'm all about it. The Survivor trilogy was fantastic. So I want to see what they do next.
Yes.
So
agree.
yeah.
Agree. And that's how you can do, like I said, a great game with a story and be sort of semi-open world where there's enough freedom and leeway to kind of go around a little bit, but you're not, you're not sidetracked completely. That's the kind of stuff that I can get into. Some of these open world games now they're just too daunting, man. They're getting way too big, and I think it's slowing down game development as well. Like if you're going to do an open world, but you're not going to make it extraordinary, then don't bother just making it large and ordinary. In my personal opinion, so
good point. Good point.
Yeah.
So I don't see Noof being a Starfield fan.
Nah.
Well, let's hope it's interesting enough.
There's more planets than bathrooms I visited.
I've stood by my guns, when I said Horizon Forbidden West, for example, is a perfect example of that, where, it's a great game in most retrospects. It's got a decent story, great characters. I mean, obviously, graphically and play mechanically, it's a very sound and amazing game, but, like, they just made that game, in my personal opinion, just way too long, and I want to see a little bit less of that. Like I said, just make it extraordinary and stop trying to stretch it out so people got 100-hour play times, because I don't know. I think it's just getting overdone now, where they seem to just think that unless you're hitting that 100-hour play mark, then the game's not worth it. And I think most of us would probably disagree that if you can make it 40 hours, but just make it extraordinary, right? That's what I like about Call of Duties, man. People always complain they're too short, but I like how Call of Duty just hits you like a ton of bricks. It's start to finish. Just it's like going to a good blockbuster movie. They don't bog you down with filler. They just boom, in and out, into the missions. Switch it up with some stealth, some action, some shoot like on rails kind of shooting bits. Like that's the one thing I do like about Call of Duty games. So they know their formula. They get it in and out, and they make it look good and play good. And like I said, they don't overextend or well. Sure, I would be nice if they went a little bit longer, but for the most part, I've never had an issue with those.
My issue with that is some of them got too short. I think paying $50-$60 for a 5.5-hour story was a little too short.
Well, like I said, that's largely because of development times and cost now, I'm sure, more than anything, because the old campaigns were longer back on the 360.
No, I'm down. The 360 was one that was only 5 hours long. I got it. I received it at 10 o'clock at night, and I was done with it by 2 in. The entire campaign. I was like, okay, that's great.
Because the campaign was set. The campaign was set to teach you how to use the gun so you could go to multiplayer. And it was obvious on some of those stories. Pick up this gun, use it. Pick up that gun, use it. All right, we're done. And it was more like a tutorial, some of those stories. Some of them.
That's Paul's same complaint about Pornhub, too, though.
Wrong show. Wrong. Hey, I've been calling myself this morning, and you're going there, okay? There have been a couple of times today I've had to stop myself from saying something shady just because I remember what show we're on. So
there you go. No, we're on the G-rated show, people. The PG-rated show here. Yeah, I'm always the one that takes it down the rabbit hole. It seems like. NewfNukem, you just can't get it out of the system, eh? Once you're a darkie, you're never. That's it. Always a darkie. Well, that's the nickname now for the fans that Game After Dark. You're a darkie.
The darkies.
Right. The darkies. Or the
That's
dorkies.
shady.
I was going to point that out, but I thought,
I might not want to use that nickname. Might want to rethink that one.
The dorkies then.
Yeah, you might want to redo that.
There you go. All right. Any final thoughts on anything here, guys? I don't think we have any more topics to really get into. We can pretty much let everybody get out of here and enjoy their Sunday. Anything related to the cloud at all, Axel? Any news on that front at all?
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is amazing on the cloud.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, no. Well, what is it? Nothing relatively new other than I'm running into a lot of more queues. random queues, especially in the evening. So yeah, I think xCloud is working out good if you're starting to get queues. Because even though while a lot of us might not use it a lot, apparently enough people are using it where I have to wait 20 minutes to load my game. So yeah, it is what it is, and it's awesome. I think the cloud is awesome anyway.
Well, on a side note, we're a couple of days away from essentially one of the biggest games of the year that was essentially supposed to be one of the biggest games of last year, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. Who's picking that game up? Are you excited about it? And do you think this is probably going to be one of the biggest selling games of the year? Because I'd say all indications point to yes. I'm just hoping it's a competent and very good game. So who's picking it up?
And I'm going to be walking down Hogwarts with my wand in my hip, walking down that school like I'm strapped.
Thank you for not saying your wand was going to be in your hand. So, that's just a whole other thing. That's just.
They're going to put that sorting hat on me, and they're going to tell me, oh, this guy belongs in Azkaban. Right there, we should die.
We got Axel. That's one of 6. Scrub, you picking it up? No? Not a Hogwarts guy?
I've never watched a Harry Potter movie other than on a date long time ago. I had to go watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first one. So as far, I've gone on the little app just to see, what where the sorting hat would put me and all that different stuff. But as far as getting the game, this would not be one I would get first day. There's some stuff that look interesting, but also it looks like a game where, excuse me, it'd be so big that I'd get bored and might just step away. So I don't know. I'll see.
You went on a date.
What do you
sent a
mean you had to go on a date to watch it? You were blessed to go on that date.
No. I had more fun before and after the movie versus during the movie.
Well,
it's
it got the magic going, didn't it? It got the magic going. You're welcome.
Well, it's like going hearing somebody tell a story and you came in the last 10 minutes of it and you don't know any other characters, you don't know what's going on, you kind of understand. Everybody knows who Harry Potter is just because of the zeitgeist, but knowing all the backgrounds of, this person was a Hufflepuff, and in the third movie they did this and this, and it's like, I don't know. So so it was just one of those things. So I'll wait. And sometimes with reviews only being pushed out like right before the game, it kind of gives you kind of little wait, let me step back. But I'm not one of those folks that's going to dump, let me pre-order for the $100 version and all that stuff. I'm just going to wait. And if it just intrigues me so much afterwards, maybe, but we'll see.
Terry, how about yourself? And I guess the second part of this question, Terry, is do you think the social media conundrum surrounding this game may help push it one way or the other?
Well, I know that the game had a boycott. I don't know what the boycott was because I wasn't following it, but I've heard that it has zero effect on it because with the pre-orders and everything, the game is already doing very, very well. I don't really see this. The Harry Potter universe has a very loyal fan base, so I feel like if you're a fan of that stuff, you're gonna get it anyway.
Right.
Just like Star Wars. Star Wars is in the same boat where they can do some stupid things, but the fan base will buy it anyway. So that's just where that is. I have no interest in getting the game. I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter universe. I couldn't care less. But if it does end up having really good gameplay, I may try it. Just like I did with a couple Star Wars games. I played them because the gameplay was good. But I'm not going to get it just because, of the franchise itself.
Gotcha. I think it's being overblown. I understand why some people are choosing not to because they have basically a beef with, J.K. Rowling, the writer of the franchise, the creator, so to speak. But I don't know, man. Like it's just to kill a developer and their hard work base, and a property that obviously people love regardless of the politics surrounding it. I'm not here to disagree or agree, but I just think that's kind of, that's a little bit crazy. But SHADDAI, what about you, man? You picking this up? You look like a guy who's ready to jump into the wizardry world.
No, I never caught my attention. I'm like, it seems interesting, but when it comes to Harry Potter, I'd rather stick with the movies. Other than that, I care less. I really do care less. So there's some other games way better than that. I'm not trying. I do have a bad sense about that one. It might end up. That's like a live service, also, right?
It's an
requires
MMO.
online, but
an MMO. Okay,
it's strictly single player. Strictly single player.
Oh, sorry, it's an RPG. Sorry, it's not an MMO.
Yeah, they say it's.
Wait a minute, a single player MMO? How does that work?
No,
You just broke the whole entire genre.
DLC.
No, but it doesn't interest me. Like I said, Resident Evil 4 is around the corner. Maybe I'm gonna get Wild Hearts, and maybe, and that's a maybe. Left 4 Dead clone, Redfall. So I don't know. So there's one better games than that.
Expecto Patronum. Cast a spell on this man.
I know.
Speaking of somebody under the spell, it looks like Paul's under one right now. It's a trance. He's like, I can't wait for this show.
No, Paul's playing a game while he's under.
Paul's like,
he's playing it right now. He's playing it right now. That's why he's quiet.
I can already hear Paul's answer. He's like, yeah, I want the game, but I'm waiting for $80 to drop mysteriously into my lap.
Hey, how did you know? Holy crap, how did you know that? No, I may pick it up. I haven't decided. I'll decide in the next day, literally the next day or two. So,
yeah, so this one obviously has the marketing behind the PlayStation brand. Obviously, they have that extra mission or two or whatever. I don't think it's going to kill any sales on Xbox, though. I think it's going to do pretty well on both platforms, to be honest with you.
I've seen people say that have both platforms, they will get it on the PlayStation, which is understandable. If you've already got the PlayStation, why not? You know,
get it there. Why not? Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Do you think there's any compromise for this game, though, because they're trying to get a port for the Switch? I'm really curious how this thing's even going to run, because it looks pretty phenomenal on the current gen systems, but I mean, to run it on the Switch, it makes me really wonder, like, what's going on here.
I don't think it'll work on the Switch, but yeah, PlayStation is getting its exclusive mission, as it always does with those exclusivity deals as well.
Because I noticed with Sonic Frontiers, the reason Sonic Frontiers runs good on the Switch, because if you look at Sonic Frontiers closely, you can pretty much tell it was built on the Switch and then poured it to the new ones. It's kind of the opposite way. Like they built it for the lowest common denominator and then upscale it a little bit and made it run a little bit better on the current gen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it really doesn't make sense, but I mean that I think games that get ported from the Switch like that, I don't think they look as good as they could if they were originally made for the better consoles. So
no, they don't, because I mean, Sonic Frontiers is not a bad looking game by any means, but if you look at it, you can see where those limitations were in the design. The way some of the levels are very, very barren, and then of course, like if you look at the textures itself, and even the looks like even like if you look at Sonic closely, like you can almost tell like the polygon count is not as high as it technically could have been.
Hey, they have that cloud.
How close are you holding your Switch?
Huh?
How close are you?
No, because I'm playing it on my PlayStation 5, and when you zoom in on the PlayStation 5, you're like, there's no way that this game was built originally on a PlayStation 5. Like you're like, this was built for the Switch, and they basically ported it the opposite direction, which is probably a lot easier than going up and then going back. Right.
Well, look what Sour Blow said. The Switch version I heard isn't a port. It actually being built from the ground up for the Switch.
That's what I said. The port is essentially the one on PS5 and the Xbox, not the opposite way around. That's what I was saying. They built it for the Switch, and they essentially just upgraded it a little bit to the newer ones, but you can tell it wasn't built primarily with the new hardware in mind. Right? That's why it looks and runs so good. Because I'm thinking, my God, like a game of this fast and stuff like that should run a lot worse, but yeah. But anyway, kind of off topic again. But there you go, Harry Potter. Sounds like a couple people on the panel excited. Me personally, look, I want the game. I don't know if I'm going to get it day one. It's largely because this month I've got a lot of finances remortgaging the house to get my PSVR 2. So, yeah. So
As sad as that sounds, it's probably absolutely true.
And if you're
Yeah.
wondering how much it costs up here, getting the Horizon Forbidden, the Horizon, what's it called, the Mountain Bundle. So
Yeah,
taxes and all
Mountain.
in here in Alberta, it comes to $860 whopping dollars.
Dang.
That's cheap.
Cheap
But
my ass.
from all indications from what I've seen from industry people that have played it, they said this thing is incredible. It's on another level. The high resolution cameras inside of this thing, the eye tracking and everything, they said it's just this headset, they're saying is like, this is top tier. So I'm expecting it to be good, and I'll give you guys the feedback on that in a couple of weeks when it's out. So can't wait.
I'll
to
have
start
one
Gran
too because my
Turismo.
roommate's gonna have one, so I'm gonna be checking it
sweet.
out.
If I want to
myself.
see a video of you playing this,
Yeah.
and falling off the mountain, and I want to see what your body does. So you gotta record yourself from
just
respectable
the thought
here.
of putting that headset on and seeing one of those giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, I forget what the friggin' name of them is, but seeing one of those like in VR, like that, where it would look like it's on scale, that's the kind of stuff that's going to get me excited, man. It's just that'll probably have me crapping in my pants if that thing comes at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you.
I
because when
don't
played
wanna-
Half-Life Alex, it had the big tripod things.
Yeah.
And the scale and the immersion is just crazy.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't want to see Newf playing this because we all know what he's going to use the VR for.
Remember, that's the reason why it sells really well for that.
We know.
reason.
We know.
Beef is going to become part of
We
the
know.
statistic.
Yep.
I
We know.
made the chat laugh last night. Was it in our Halo match? Because Phasma jumped in and she was watching this play, and I said something about. I said, "Who was?" I don't know. I think it wasn't Shidu. Wasn't it you? SHADDAI? I said you're gonna have a pair of Halo underwear. It's gonna have a plasma.
Oh yeah, one chick is gonna get Halo, and the other one's gonna say cheek. Yeah.
Master
It's
Cheeks.
sticky down here. Oh man, unbelievable. That's a great marketing idea. That'd be funny, but they never do it. But that would be funny. All right. Well, let's get ready to close the show. Look at that. We're going to get out of here on time. We got to let Scrub Nurse get going. I know everybody's got a busy day. Like I said, I've got an interview coming up with Web Dave here shortly. So let's let everybody get out of here. We will start with the way you guys appear on my screen. That is CerebralPaul is no, actually, if you go to the YouTube screen, CerebralPaul is first. So Paul, let people know what you're doing today and where they can catch up with your content next.
Later today, well, you can catch up with me content wise on Twitter, CerebralPaul1, Twitch at CerebralPaul. Later today, I'll be on the Flemish Experience. Tuesday, I have Retro Renegades. And I have an announcement to make today. I was actually offered it this morning. I will be a new member on the Backlog Bastards with Spooky and those guys on
Nice.
Wednesday evening. So that's I always have fun with those guys.
Mhm.
And then on Thursday I have 4GQ TV, and we just dropped our interview with Aaron B. Coons from Scare Package 2. It's available on YouTube.
Nice.
And I posted a couple times on my Twitter if you're interested in that. And then of course I'm here every Sunday for this show. There you go.
All right. Good stuff. Like I said, everybody wants to hang around, even though I'm going to dump you from the screen here. If you guys need to hang around to chat as we close the show, just stay around in the private chats. Thanks for Paul, and let's get to Scrub Nurse and find out what he's got upcoming.
Well, upcoming, of course, we got tonight. What's The Last of Us? That's definitely what I'm gonna be checking out. But before The Last of Us,
I was
if
gonna
you need
say,
some-
don't you have a show?
yeah. But before Last of Us comes out,
It kind of freaked me out.
gaming beyond the box. Come
Mhm.
check us out. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Time. So we're gonna have good time talking games, different topics. We'll go over a little recap of The Last of Us, last episode 3.
Right.
You can always check me out on Twitter at Scrub Nurse 3, and then my gamer tag on Xbox is Scrub Space Nurse. I also have my Twitch channel, which is Scrub_Nurse. So if you don't catch all that stuff, it's always linked down in the bottom. You can see everything I'm at. So enjoy the show. Good to see everybody in the chat. For the folks who's going to watch it out in the replays, thank you for hanging out with us for the time you have. Don't forget to like and share this stuff out, and I will see y'all on next Sunday. Take it easy.
Indeed. Thanks again, Scrub. Have a good day, my friend.
All right.
All right. We're down to the final four. Let's save Mr. SHADDAI for last here. Let's get over to Axel. Where can people catch up with you next, my friend?
Yeah, guys. I'm Axel1324, and I'm the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. This week, we had a very special live-only episode because we actually played a lot of licensed music. So, of course, I'm not going to post that. Can't make money off it, any of that stuff. So it was a live-only episode, so there was no replay. Sorry if you missed it, but it was a really awesome episode. But this next week's coming up, we will have a regular live episode. And then, guys, I'm going on vacation, and I'll be gone for 2 weeks.
All right.
Yeah. So this Friday, next Friday, and then I'm on vacation. You guys won't hear from me for a while.
Okay, which means we won't see you here for a couple weeks then.
Right. And then I come back for 1 week and then go on another vacation. So
all righty.
It's awesome. All right. See you guys next week.
See you, Axel. Have a good one.
See ya.
All right. And let's get over to CoolcatTerri. Where can people catch up with your content next?
Everybody go ahead over to Twitter, Coolcat_Terry, if you want to stay in the know with all the upcoming indie games that are coming out, that are in development or coming out real soon. Go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram as well, CoolcatTerri, like you see here. And my YouTube channel, Coolcat's Alley, which is automotive media. So if you like car stuff, go check that out as well. And then hopefully as soon as Ubisoft drops something new, I'll be back on Twitch, which is also what you see here.
Absolutely. And guys, check out the description of the YouTube show below. I have all their contact information there, including their YouTube channels, their social media, and so on and so forth. So please go check them out and support these guys. They're amazing. Even if you get subscribe to their channels or check them out from time to time, it's like I said, I can't do this podcast without them, and they all put together some unique and awesome content. So go check them out if you get a chance. I'd greatly appreciate that. Thanks again, Terry. We'll see you next week. All righty. Last but not least, his final show, at least for the foreseeable future. Does that mean it's the end of the road for SHADDAI? Probably not. But again, that's his call to make. We will leave a spot open here on the show in case he decides he wants to return with us. But for now, this is his final show for a while, and I want to thank everybody for coming out and showing that support. SHADDAI's been an amazing panel member here. We love him to pieces. He's just a great guy. He's got a big heart. He's got a great sense of humor. He takes it all in stride. He's also a really good guy to play games with. So if you're not got him added on Xbox, you should do so. Like I said, he has fun. He never takes things too serious, and that's what we got him here, man, to bring in a different perspective, and as well, all that good stuff. SHADDAI, man, you've been an awesome panel member here of Good Morning Xbox. We love you. We're gonna miss you. We'll see you around the community for sure, but we're still gonna miss you here on Sunday morning. So, Mr. 582213. Apparently you're up for parole. The bars are open. You can hit the roads. Let people know where you can catch you next.
Hey, I just made, it took me 80 years, as you could see it right there. It took me 80 years to actually get out of prison. So pretty long time, but no, but actually I'd rather say thank you, Newf. Actually, that I've been doing podcasts with you since Gaming After Dark. What is it, like 2018?
It's been probably 3 or 4 years almost now.
Yeah, it was like that. So you're the one who actually gave me the opportunity for that until you actually decided to create pretty much, the Xbox own podcasting. And I took that opportunity. I wasn't expecting you to say, hey, whatever, let's have, all sorts of ethnicity, everything. So that was actually a really, really good idea from your behalf. Yeah. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. I don't know too much of the gaming industry, but like I said, along the way, I learned a lot. We had a lot of fun, and we did had a lot of
First, man.
That's the reason why he posted those little icons. But Other than that, actually, we already
Mhm.
had heated conversation, not arguments or no that. I still remember when I had that with CoolcatTerri, starting with that Kingdom Hearts. Then not too long ago with the Redfall not being Left 4 Dead clone. So I had a lot of fun, and I know you. During your time, I know you step out for a bit. You have your reasons, but like you said, is it the end of me being here? No, anything could happen. It's just another opportunity just popped. I did it before. I'm gonna try it again. If I get invited again by you, Noof, and the crew, take me back as a guest.
Doors open. You just got to say, hey, whatever you're doing, it's not working out. I want to come back. The door's open for you, man.
Yeah,
We're
thank you.
we're not replacing you. Now, if we drop 2 panel members, we might have to pick up another one because I want the panel to get too low. Because then if we got guys like Axel who's going on vacation, all of a sudden I'm down to the double duo. So 4 is good, 5 is awesome. 6 is like I said, stretching it, but so there you go. So yeah, the door's still open for you, man. We'll leave the back door open.
Yeah, thank you. I do. I really
You know what
do
they say, once
appreciate
an inmate, always an inmate, right?
Exactly. It's when you're so accustomed to one thing, and you get let go, you always end up coming back anyway. That's prison life.
We're just all happy to know that it's not like a health issue that's taking you away from us.
No. It's just opportunity.
Yep.
And I just wanted it to take it to see how it goes. And but other than that, I really do appreciate the opportunity. The interviews. I know the last one we never got the chance to have that opportunity. That would have been great for this show. For the Pentiment.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I reached out to a lot of people. Heck, I even reached out to Mike Hermit again from Retromania Wrestling, and he never got back to me. I mean, I had him here before the game launched. Maybe he just tired of talking about it, but I wanted to get him on here, but I haven't heard from him. So it seems like every time I reach out to a developer, I get the cold shoulder. So the NewfNukem, the reputation must be going around or something, or either that they're just really damn busy. I can't figure it out, but whatever. It's all good.
Hey, that's okay. Things happens, and there's plenty of time. We will, you will get that opportunity. It's not the end of the world.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of developers out there, but other than that, I really do appreciate for this opportunity. I had a lot of fun here, learned a lot, interviews, and the panel. I mean, not the panel, but the chat. That been crazy with Doggy Dog, Splendiferous. They're always, there's always in there. But and of course it has been pretty big. It's been rising. I've been seeing those watching now. It's been pretty there.
Absolutely.
But other than that, I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, if the opportunity presents itself, you will see me back.
Well, we appreciate you, and we also appreciate, like I said, SHADDAI, like we've been rolling with the punches on this whole prison thing pretty much since the show started, and the fact, like I said, that you taking in stride, and that's just a testament to the kind of guy you are. Like I said, you don't take things too seriously, and you took what was a running joke, and you literally ran with it and made it fun. So that's fantastic.
I had to, because it actually doesn't look like a dungeon when I started. So
you definitely upgraded. You got a little Last of Us window scene going on there now, and there's some chairs and there's a little bit of stuff there. Yeah.
No, and the thing is, there's a possibility. And the thing is that there's a possibility that it's gonna change again. So I think this, what you see right here, right now, is pretty much temporarily until
he comes back with CerebralPaul, folks.
hey, you're giving too much information.
Actually shaking his head.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
But thank you. I really do appreciate it. Glad to meet the whole panel. It's a really good opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for meeting each and one of you and all that. I appreciate it.
All right, Shaddai. Well, take care, my friend. We'll catch you pretty soon. And if nothing else, we will see you around the gaming streets, and we'll hook up for some more multiplayer community game nights.
Of course. I'm always available for those.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again to Shaddai, and thank you guys to an amazing chat. If you guys would like to be a guest on Good Morning Xbox, please send me a DM, whether it is via Xbox Live or over on my Twitter. Again, so on my social media tags down below. If you'd like to be a guest to come on here, especially if you happen to be a fan of the Xbox platform, because we're here to talk about stuff happening. It's not always, the news can be slow at times, and we don't always have, I wish we could have more positive news all the time. Sometimes it's tough because, it's just the way things go. But like I said, we are an Xbox podcast. We try to keep it Xbox centric, the good, the bad, and everything in between. I mean, thanks to the amazing panel today and for another great show. We're going to see you again, guys, next week. I'm going to let everybody get out of here. Like I said, in about an hour, you can catch me on Outbreak Gamers channel with Web Dave. We're going to be doing a little bit of an interview thing over there. So if you didn't get the background story on NewfNukem, I'm sure he's going to dig deep and find out how things all came to be. But anyway, it's been an amazing show. You guys have yourself a great morning, and we'll catch you next week. And thanks, Doggy Dog. You are the MVP, my brother. We love you. We'll see you guys soon. See you, Happy Cloud. We'll catch you guys all later. Thanks again.